Susan Lipson has been a member of this congregation from the beginning of the community. Her parents were among the founders of Temple Emunah. She started attending our religious school when we were in a big house on Winthrop Road in Nassau before the old building and the new building were constructed. Over the years, she has maintained a deep connection with the shul, celebrating her wedding, her son's B'nai Mitzvah, and currently she is Gabbai for Daily Morning Minyan, tutors B'nai Mitzvah students, including my own daughter, frequently reading Torah, always indebted to Susan for all that she brings to our community on so many different levels. B'akasha.
As you've just heard, my parents were among the founders of Temple Emunah, and I was a member of the congregation as a child, but I first encountered Mike when I returned to Emunah after college and grad school. I quickly discovered that he was one of the pillars of the congregation. He was deeply committed to the conservative movement, a regular at daily and Shabbat morning services, where he was often davener or reading Torah, and he was a knowledgeable and beloved teacher. At that point, I was none of those things. As some of you know, when I was growing up, girls were not allowed to read Torah or lead services, and I did not come from a very observant home. But in response to a high holiday appeal, I began to come to morning minyan one morning a week. Later, that increased to several days a week, and starting 12 years ago, I began attending every morning. As a result, I spent a lot of time observing and learning from Mike. Now, when I say learning from, I don't mean he instructed me. Remarkably, considering the gap between his experience and mine, I always felt he treated me as an equal, though clearly we were not. But that is how he treated everyone, with courtesy and respect. As time went on, I would occasionally step in as Gabbai for Minyan when he was away, and I tried to emulate the way that he conducted the service and the way he acted towards other people. I learned to be a calling Gabbai on Torah reading days by watching how he did it, not just what words he recited, but how he decided who to call for the aliyot. I would try to anticipate who he would call, and I strove to remember the Hebrew names of regular attendees the way he did. During those years, I also made up for not having learned to read Torah when I was younger by learning to read as an adult. Mike had the job of assigning Torah readers in those days, and he gave me the chance to take on challenging readings like the Song of the Sea and the Ten Commandments, and that motivated me to be worthy of those assignments. As I got more interested in Torah reading, sometimes I would stick around while Mike was rolling a scroll in preparation for an upcoming reading. And I marveled at his knowledge of where he needed to roll to and his ability to recognize the place when he got to it. Indeed, all of us Torah readers took it for granted that the scroll would be in the right place when we got up to read, perhaps without realizing that Mike had made that happen. And while initially I was clueless about how to identify the place where a reading started, over time I began to develop more familiarity with the process. When Mike died, we all recognized immediately that no one person could do all the things that he did at Emunah, not to mention all the things he did at Maimonides and in the Bedford community. Being the Gabbai for the daily morning minyan and rolling the Torah scrolls are two things that were important to him, and by being around him, they became important to me, and I was honored to take on those roles. I don't aspire or even want to do them exactly the way Mike did. My background and personality are very different from his. I need to look forward every couple of months to anticipate the upcoming readings and then figure out what scrolls to use and where they need to be rolled to, and write it all for myself on a calendar. But he seemed to keep all that information in his head. And at Morning Minyan, I am certainly not the rich source of biblical knowledge and Jewish jokes that he was. But in my own way, I try to carry on Mike's legacy of dedication to Torah and to this community.
A huge yasher koach to Buzz and Susan, who do so many things for our community and now do so many more as we both miss Mike and try to continue the things that he did in our congregation. After he passed, we had to make a spreadsheet with the things that he did. And after the 23 things we could think of and who would then do them, we stopped realizing we didn't even know all the things that he did for our community. One of the ways that we're going to lift up his memory is by dedicating a Torah scroll in his memory. I'll invite everyone in the community to participate in that project. I think we sent out an email this week. We'll send out more information as we go through that and have the opportunity to dedicate that and a plaque in his memory. Invite everyone to participate. We'll do some learning, which of course was very dear to him, and dedicate that in the fall.